What's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Idaho Rifleman. Today I wanted to actually talk to you guys about what to do in the event you are injured and need to defend yourself. Recently attended a training class where we went over manipulations of handguns and what to do in the event you are injured. Say you're out at the mall or just out in public somewhere. You find yourself involved in an active shooter scenario and you are injured, having to defend yourself and protect your own life or the life of you and your family. So today we're going to head over to the range here and we're just going to go over some quick, simple, basic training that you guys can do at home to practice the worst case scenario for yourself and having to defend yourself while you are injured. So let's head over there and we'll get started. The first drill I want to go over is just a simple how do you function and reload with the use of only one appendage. So if you're injured in your arm, your shoulder, and you only have the one hand, how do you function on a reload? So that's the first thing we're going to go through. I don't have a target set up downrange. We're just going to fire into the berm. I'm not focused so much on accuracy or target shooting for this video. It's going through the functionality of how to function in that situation. So I'm carrying a Shield 9mm, I'm carrying it to 4 o'clock. So if I have function of both hands, first thing I want to do is get my shirt out of the way. Now I can draw, I'm ready. But if I lose the function of my left hand, I take a round in the shoulder. Now how do I spend out my magazine and then function a reload? I've got 2 loaded, we'll start with that. Okay, gun goes dry. I can eject the magazine. I can't use this hand, so what do? I can reholster. Reinsert the magazine from the holster. Send slide release home, and I'm back to work. The other option, gun goes dry. If I can do so safely, invert the handgun, go between my knees. I'm in between my knees, I use one hand, reinsert the magazine, send the slide home, I'm back to work. Now, you have to be careful, especially if you're going to be practicing this in a group or with a group of friends. Always be very cognizant of where that muzzle is pointed. So the reholstering is probably one of the safest options, but practice with several different options as well if you are safe to do so. Our next drill is what to do when your firearm malfunctions. So you're not dry, you know you've still got ammunition in the magazine, but gun went click instead of bang. So what are we going to do? We're in that situation, we've only got one arm, gun goes click. I'm going to strike my knee on the magazine to make sure it's seated. And then there's a couple of options that you can use. I prefer to use my holster. Out here where I'm at right now, there's no one around. There's no danger to anybody. So I can go and rack from here if I'm training or there is other people around. On a range, something like that. I'm going to actually turn my body down range to where when I rack this pistol, I'm pointed in a safe direction. I've cleared the malfunction. I've made sure my magazine is seated. Tap, rack, boom. So now I'm back in the fight. I'm back to work. The gun is empty. I've removed the magazine. I'm going to show you a couple other options for racking that slide, either on body or off, just to show you some versatility and some other ways of doing it. I showed you off the holster. Again, if you're around a group of people, you're going to want to turn so your muzzle is downrange away from that group. Where I'm at right now, there's nobody on either side of me. I'm out here by myself. So again, if you can rack and catch your sight on your holster, that's an easy way to rack. If not, use your belt. If you really have no other option. Balance is a problem for me sometimes, but racking off the boot is an option as well, to where you can cycle and do anything you can to get back in that fight and get the malfunction cleared out of your firearm. Off body, you can use a railing or some kind of a countertop or a banister, something solid that you can get a good rack off of that's close by. So practice those different things. If you're going to be doing this at home and not on a range or a public land spot where you can go and shoot, make sure your firearm is empty. Use snap caps if you can, because that'll protect your firing pin, and just above all, be safe while you're doing this, because if you're not, that utterly defeats the purpose of what you're training for here. For this drill, we're going to clear a double feed with one hand. So we're going to utilize a snap cap, drop that into your cylinder to simulate your failure to extract. We've got a live round in the magazine, and I'm just going to ease the slide down. We're in a double feed now, so I'm in my fight. I have a double feed, trigger's mushy. To clear this, I'm going to put my thumb on the magazine release, and I'm going to strike my leg as many times as possible and as many times as needed on my wrist. Use that force and that momentum to clear that magazine out. Now, I've still got a failure to eject inside the gun, so once again, clear it off my holster. Now I have to reholster my gun, perform my reload with my spare magazine. Problem with doing this on an inside the waistband holster is your clothing does get in the way, so if you have to get it way up out of here, tuck it into your armpit, and now you've got everything right here. Magazine's back in the gun. I have to rack again. Now I'm back to work. It's clunky, but when you are down to one appendage and that is all you are able to work with, then you've got to be able to function through that, and if possible, find cover, find concealment, find somewhere to be protected as you're doing this to avoid getting shot again or injured in some other way. Well, that's all the time we have left for today. Just a quick video going over some drills that you can practice at home on how to clear malfunctions and how to just function in general in the event you find yourself in a situation where you're having to defend your life, but you are injured and you've lost the use of one arm. Again, we just focused on dominant side today, our strong side shooting. Go through this, get proficient at it with your strong side shooting, then integrate weak side or your non-dominant hand for shooting as well, because there may be a situation where you have to transition over to that. For me, it's my left hand, my non-dominant weak hand, and practice with that. Make sure you're being safe, make sure your firearms are unloaded, use snap caps whenever you can, because that's going to protect your striking, your having a stroke, you guys. It's going to protect your firing pin and your striker inside your pistol, and those snap caps just are generally a better way to protect the inner functions of your gun while you're doing this dry. If you are doing this out, you're going to have to check with a range master first to see if they will even allow you to train or function on that kind of a drill. If not, I don't know if there's public land maybe you folks can go to and practice this, but you don't need a range. You don't need to put live rounds through it to function. You just use snap caps, or if you don't have those, even a dry gun will work. Just make sure you're being safe, make sure you're watching your muzzle, and make sure that you don't actually cause the situation that you're trying to train how to function through. So 3 simple drills: how to reload with one appendage, how to clear a double feed with one appendage, and how to just clear a dead round. Maybe it was a round that extracted but didn't feed the next round, or maybe it was a round that just had a light primer strike and didn't go off. But working through those 3 scenarios, probably 90% of what you could encounter in that situation. Again, it's information that I learned a week or so ago, and I wanted to make sure to pass on to you guys. It's not pretty, it's not clean, it doesn't really look good while you're doing it, but the ultimate goal is that you are able to function and perform and defend yourself in the situation where you are in an injured shooter trying to function. If you guys liked this video, found it informative, found it interesting, be sure to give me a like, leave a like and a comment down below. It helps the social media platforms find that you see value in this type of information, this type of content. Not all platforms, but a lot of them are making it harder and harder for guys like me to put information out to the general public on how to be safe and how to function properly and appropriately with firearms. So I would really appreciate that. Make sure you're following the channel here. Reach down, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Be sure to check me out on Facebook and Instagram as well at the Idaho Rifleman. As always, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Take care, stay safe, and God bless. We'll see you next time here on Idaho Rifleman.